Imagine this. No matter what chaos life throws at you, you stay calm, steady, untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Now ask yourself, why do words from others ruin your entire day? Why do setbacks shake your confidence? Why does life feel like a constant storm you can't escape? Here's the truth most people never learn. You don't need to control the world. You only need to master your mind. That's the core of Stoic philosophy. And in this video, you're going to discover 10 Stoic principles that will change the way you think, react, and live, so that nothing and no one can disturb your peace again. These aren't vague ideas. They are timeless rules used by warriors, emperors, and thinkers for over 2,000 years. And today, they're yours to master. You'll learn how to stay unshaken by criticism or insult, how to turn obstacles into power, how to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. But here's the challenge. Only those who watch to the end will grasp the full power of these teachings. And just one principle, just one, if truly understood, can shift your entire life. So stay with me. This isn't just a video, it's a manual for inner strength in a world that's constantly testing you. Ready to become unshakable? Let's begin. Imagine this. No matter what chaos life throws at you, you stay calm, steady, untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Now ask yourself, why do words from others ruin your entire day? Why do setbacks shake your confidence? Why does life feel like a constant storm you can't escape? Here's the truth most people never learn. You don't need to control the world. You only need to master your mind. That's the core of Stoic philosophy. And in this video, you're going to discover 10 Stoic principles that will change the way you think, react, and live, so that nothing and no one can disturb your peace again. These aren't vague ideas. They are timeless rules used by warriors, emperors, and thinkers for over 2,000 years. And today, they're yours to master. You'll learn how to stay unshaken by criticism or insult, how to turn obstacles into power, how to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. But here's the challenge. Only those who watch to the end will grasp the full power of these teachings. And just one principle, just one, if truly understood, can shift your entire life. So stay with me. This isn't just a video, it's a manual for inner strength in a world that's constantly testing you. Ready to become unshakable? Let's begin. Principle number 2, guard your mind like your body. Imagine this. A stranger walks up to you on the street and asks for your house keys. No reason, no introduction, just hands out and demands access to your most personal space. Would you hand them over? Of course not. So why are we so quick to hand over the keys to our mind, to strangers on the internet, to critics who don't know us, to the passing opinions of people who won't even remember our names tomorrow? Epictetus asked it best. Would you give your body to a stranger? Then why give your mind to them? The Stoics believed your mind is your most sacred space. It's the fortress where your thoughts, values, and identity live. But many of us leave the gates wide open, allowing gossip, judgment, and social pressure to march right in and take control. And it's not always obvious. It happens every time you let an insult ruin your day. Every time you second-guess yourself because someone else disapproves. Every time you compare your life to someone's highlight reel on social media. That's not just insecurity, that's mental exposure. Vulnerability, not from openness, but from lack of discipline. Stoicism teaches us that freedom begins in the mind, and just like you train your body for strength, you must train your thoughts for resilience. Start small. Catch yourself when you react. Ask, is this mine? Or am I letting someone else steer the wheel of my emotions? Because when you protect your mind, when you stop giving away your peace so cheaply, you become untouchable, not cold, not indifferent, just anchored. And in today's world, that kind of self-command isn't just rare, it's power. So guard your mind like you would your body. Feed it well, strengthen it daily, and never, never let just anyone inside. Principle number 3, don't react to every word. Not every word deserves your energy. Not every opinion requires your defense. In a world where everyone has something to say, online, offline, behind your back, or straight to your face, it's easy to get pulled into every passing comment, every critique, every whisper. But here's the truth. The Stoics didn't flinch at noise. They mastered the art of silence, not because they had nothing to say, but because they knew when silence was stronger than reaction. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that includes what people say about you. If someone mocks you, pause. If someone criticizes you unfairly, breathe. If someone throws words like daggers, let them fall. Because the strongest person in the room is not the one who shouts the loudest, but the one who doesn't need to. Reacting to every comment is like chasing every gust of wind. It exhausts you, distracts you, and takes you off course. But when you choose what to respond to and what to let pass, you reclaim your peace. You signal that your time and attention are not up for grabs. Let others talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them judge. Your mission isn't to win every argument. It's to stay true to your values. So the next time someone throws words your way, remember, not every stone needs to be picked up. Some are better left on the ground. Because silence, when rooted in strength, speaks louder than anything they could ever say. Principle number 4, insult and offense. Words don't hurt. Your reaction does. Let's be clear. Words have no power unless you give it to them. No one can truly insult you without your permission. Yes, someone might call you a name. They might try to shame you, dismiss you, humiliate you. But it's not their words that cut. It's your interpretation of those words. That's where the wound opens. Epictetus said, "What really frightens and dismays us is not external events themselves, but the way in which we think about them." Read that again. What stings isn't the insult. It's the meaning you attach to it. You let their words in. You hold on to them. You let them echo in your mind until they feel true. But the Stoic mind is fortified. It doesn't allow every arrow to land. It doesn't mistake noise for truth. Imagine someone spits venom at you, calls you weak, useless, a failure. A reactive person explodes. But a Stoic pauses and asks, "Is this true? Is this useful? Does this change my purpose?" If the answer is no, the insult dies in silence. It has nowhere to stick. That's power. That's emotional sovereignty. In a world obsessed with validation and terrified of criticism, Stoicism offers a radical alternative. Indifference to offense. Not coldness, but clarity. Not numbness, but strength. So here's your challenge. The next time someone insults you, stop. Don't react. Don't carry their words into your soul. Instead, treat them like static. Background noise you don't even notice anymore, because the moment you stop taking offense is the moment no one can ever truly hurt you again. Principle number 5, fear and dishonor. Break free from shame. Fear, shame, two invisible chains that keep people small. We fear judgment, so we stay silent. We fear embarrassment, so we don't try. We fear failure, so we never begin. But here's the truth, most never learn. Fear and shame only have power if you let others define you. When you live for the approval of the crowd, you become their prisoner. You hand them the keys to your self-worth. Every insult becomes a dagger. Every raised eyebrow feels like a verdict. And slowly, you start shrinking. Epictetus taught, if you wish to be free, then learn to disregard what does not belong to you. And what doesn't belong to you, the opinions of people who don't live your life. Their judgments are not your truth. Their expectations are not your compass. True freedom begins the moment you stop needing applause. The wise don't measure themselves by what others think. They build their lives on internal values, courage, honesty, discipline. These are the virtues that last long after the crowd has gone quiet. Ask yourself, who would you be if you stopped fearing what people might say? What could you achieve if shame no longer whispered in your ear? Here's the Stoic reality. Shame dies when you own your story. When you rise, even after failure. When you speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. When you choose to act, not because it's popular, but because it's right. You were not born to be liked. You were born to be strong. So the next time fear creeps in or shame tries to choke your ambition, remember, their power ends where your courage begins. You don't owe the world perfection. You owe it your authenticity. Stand tall, speak clearly, and never, ever let someone else decide your worth. Principle number 6, anticipate obstacles. Prepare the mind before the storm. Imagine a seasoned runner preparing for a marathon. She doesn't just train on sunny days. She runs in the rain, in the wind, on uphill roads. She anticipates the worst, not because she's pessimistic, but because she's wise. This is the Stoic mindset. Don't hope for a smooth path. Prepare for a rough one. Epictetus said, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." But here's the catch. Glory doesn't come to the unprepared. If you live expecting things to always go right, the first obstacle will crush you. If instead, you train your mind for resistance, then no storm will ever shake your foundation. Anticipating obstacles is not about becoming cynical, it's about becoming calm. It's about rehearsing hardship in the mind so that when it shows up in real life, it feels familiar, not frightening. Think about it like this. A pilot doesn't panic during turbulence because she trained for it. A firefighter doesn't freeze in a burning building because he practiced for it. Why should life be any different? You can't control everything that will come your way. Loss, betrayal, financial trouble, rejection. But you can prepare your mindset. Visualize the pain, imagine the delay, expect the challenge, and then decide who you will be when it arrives. Will you fall apart, or will you step up? Stoicism teaches us to walk into life's arena like warriors, calm, ready, unshaken. You don't wait for the storm to build your shelter. You build it every day, brick by brick, in your habits, your thoughts, your principles. So when the winds blow, because they always will, you won't just survive. You'll stand still, you'll stay focused, and you'll keep walking. Principle number 7, no one can hurt you. Master your reactions, master your power. Let's make one thing clear. Pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's optional. People will lie, they'll criticize, they'll betray, but none of that defines you unless you allow it to. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Epictetus put it simply, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Read that again. What hurts isn't always the insult, it's how deeply you let it cut. What stings isn't the betrayal, it's how long you carry it in your chest. Most people believe that others have the power to hurt them. The truth is, that power is yours and always has been. Imagine someone throws words at you meant to humiliate or provoke. You can either absorb that poison or let it pass through you like wind against stone. If you react in anger, if you spiral into self-doubt, you've handed them control. But if you remain still, anchored in self-respect, they lose, because they cannot hurt what they cannot shake. A Stoic doesn't flinch when insulted. He examines his own response. He asks, is what they said true? If yes, he uses it as a mirror to grow. If not, he lets it fall away like dust from his robe. This is not weakness, this is discipline. True strength isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming untouchable, not through avoidance, but through awareness. You feel pain, but you don't become it. You're aware of offense, but you don't cling to it. And over time, you build a fortress no insult can breach. So next time someone tries to wound you, remember this. Their words are just noise. Their opinions, temporary. Your reaction, eternal. Don't give them power they haven't earned. You are not made of glass. You are forged in fire. And no one can hurt you unless you open the door. And a Stoic never opens that door. Principle number 8. Restrain your actions. Power lies in patience. It's easy to react. It takes nothing to snap back, to lash out, to speak before thinking. That's instinct. That's the default setting of the undisciplined. But Stoicism teaches something deeper, something stronger. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself," and mastery begins with restraint. When someone disrespects you, what's your first impulse? Maybe anger, maybe sarcasm, maybe a sharp response to put them in their place. But here's the truth. Every time you act without thinking, you give away your power. You let your emotions drive the car, while your reason sits in the back seat, silent. And where does that lead? Regret, damage, missed opportunities for growth. A Stoic doesn't chase every provocation. He doesn't answer every insult. He pauses, he breathes, he thinks. Because restraint isn't weakness, it's command. It's the ability to choose your response, not just offer a reaction. In a world that celebrates quick comebacks and instant outrage, the one who stays calm becomes unshakable, respected, dangerous even, because he cannot be manipulated. Think of a leader in a crisis. The room is on fire with panic, but he stands still, measuring the moment, not rushing to act, but choosing the right move. That's the kind of person others follow. Not the loudest, not the quickest, the calmest. So train yourself. The next time you feel the rush of reaction, pause, count to 3. Ask, is this response aligned with who I want to be? Because anyone can throw a punch, but it takes real strength to hold it back and choose a better path. Restraint is the silent proof of wisdom, and those who master it become unshakable. Principle number 9. The power of acceptance. Chap Nanje Chuyen Hoa. There's a moment in life when you realize fighting reality is the surest way to suffer. You can deny it, resist it, curse it, but the facts don't flinch. The traffic jam doesn't move faster because you're furious. The rain doesn't stop because you forgot your umbrella. And the people in your life won't always behave the way you wish they would. Stoicism doesn't teach you to love every hardship. It teaches you to accept what is, so you can transform what can be. Epictetus said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not." This is the foundation of emotional resilience, and it's where real power begins. Acceptance is not surrender. It's not passivity. It's precision. It's knowing where to aim your energy and where not to. The modern mind is often exhausted not because life is too hard, but because we waste our strength fighting what cannot be changed. We replay conversations, obsess over others' opinions, argue with the weather, and in the process, we burn out. But imagine this instead. You're laid off from your job. You take a deep breath. You feel the disappointment, but you don't spiral. You say, "This is what happened. Now, what's my next best move?" That is the power of acceptance. It turns chaos into clarity. It frees you from emotional quicksand, and it returns your focus to what you can shape, your mindset, your response, your next action. This is not just philosophy. It's a survival skill. In relationships, it helps you stop trying to fix people who don't want to grow. In business, it helps you recover faster from failure. In everyday life, it helps you move forward with calm when the world doesn't go your way. So ask yourself, what pain am I holding on to? Not because it's necessary, but because I've refused to accept it. Let go, not to give up, but to get back your power. Acceptance isn't the end, it's the beginning of right action, of peace, and of a life no longer at war with itself. And once you stop fighting what is, you finally have the energy to build what could be. Principle number 10. Live according to nature, song hai hoa voi tu nien. What if the path to peace wasn't hidden in a retreat, a raise, or a new relationship, but in something far more ancient and simple? The Stoics taught that true happiness comes when we live in alignment with nature, not just the trees and rivers around us, but our own inner nature. our essence, our reason, our purpose. Epictetus said, "Nature gave us one tongue and two ears, so we could listen twice as much as we speak." That's not just biology, it's guidance. Nature is always speaking. Are you listening? To live according to nature means to live in tune with what you truly are, a rational, moral being. It means stripping away the noise, the greed, the vanity, and returning to what is essential: virtue, simplicity, and intention. Look around. The modern world rewards excess: bigger houses, faster cars, louder voices. But the soul doesn't crave noise, it longs for meaning. And that meaning is found not in chasing more, but in becoming whole with less. When you live according to nature, you stop measuring your worth by how much you accumulate. You start measuring it by how deeply you live, how clearly you think, how firmly you act on principle. The seasons change without resistance. Rivers flow around obstacles. Trees grow patiently. And you? You were meant to live the same way, calm, steady, rooted. You were not built for chaos, you were built for clarity. So slow down. Simplify. Return to the values that made you strong: wisdom, courage, justice, self-control. Let go of the artificial and return to the authentic. Because when you live according to your nature, the world loses its power to disturb you. And peace is no longer something you chase. It becomes where you live. In a world that constantly pulls us in 100 directions, notifications, deadlines, opinions, comparisons, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, reactive, even powerless. But the wisdom of Stoicism reminds us of a truth most people forget. You are not powerless. You are the gatekeeper of your mind, the architect of your peace, and the only one who gets to define your worth. This video wasn't just about ancient philosophy. It was a wake-up call. A reminder that serenity isn't found in perfect circumstances, but in how you respond to imperfect ones. That the strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who doesn't flinch when storms roll in. Because storms will come. That's life. But you don't have to be moved by them. Every principle in this video offers a clear, practical application. Set a firm purpose, not just career goals, but personal values that anchor you. Guard your mind like your body. Don't hand your peace over to strangers or critics. Don't react to every word. Choose your response like a wise warrior chooses his battles. Prepare for obstacles. Mentally rehearse adversity so you're never caught off guard. Practice acceptance, not to give up, but to direct your energy to what you can actually influence. Here's the truth. Your life becomes radically different the moment you realize you don't need to control everything around you. You only need to master what's inside you. Your thoughts, your choices, your standards. That's the real battlefield. So what can you do, starting today? Wake up 30 minutes earlier and reflect on your purpose. Limit distractions that hijack your focus and energy. When faced with conflict, pause, breathe, respond with clarity, not emotion. Journal your reactions. Track your triggers. Study yourself like a philosopher studies the stars. Wisdom is not found, it's built. One disciplined choice at a time. And the best part, you don't need to be perfect. You only need to be committed. So choose today to live with intention, not reaction. Choose to become unshakable, not by hiding from the world, but by rising above it, because nothing can affect you if you learn to master yourself. If this video resonated with you, don't just scroll past, support the mission. Hit that like button, subscribe to Stoic Wisdom Daily, and share this with someone who needs it. Let's spread ancient wisdom for modern strength. One life, one mindset at a time. Stay unshakable.